Ladies and gentlemen, life has this extraordinary way of pulling back the curtains. It doesn't always happen overnight. Sometimes it's subtle, a whisper, a feeling, a situation that seems small at first, and sometimes it's loud. There's a truth about life that most people don't want to face until they're forced to. It's the understanding that not everyone clapping for you is rooting for you. And not everyone standing beside you is loyal to you. It's easy to be surrounded by smiling faces when everything in your life is beautiful. When the sun is shining and blessings are pouring in, the crowd gathers. When success fills your pockets and laughter fills your home, when opportunities overflow, you will rarely have to question who is around you. Everyone loves you when you're winning. Everyone loves you when you have something to give. Everyone loves the celebration, the lights, the abundance. But life, in its divine wisdom, never lets those seasons last forever without balance. Because if life never sent the storms, you would never know who built their house with you and who was just renting a room for the good times. It's the hard seasons, the ones that feel like they're tearing you apart, that reveal the hearts of those around you. When you're broken, when you're lost, when you have nothing to offer but your raw self, that's when truth steps forward. Trials become the mirror. They strip away the polished surfaces, the shallow bonds, the fake affection. They show you clearly who is standing for you and who is simply standing beside you out of convenience. Pain has a way of peeling back every layer. Disappointment lays foundations bare. When you lose the job, when you fall out of favor, when the relationship crumbles, when your health is shaken, when your dreams take a hit, that's when life shines a light into all the hidden places. That's when you learn that real love does not vanish at the first sign of difficulty. Loyalty does not evaporate when the music stops playing. True friends, true companions, true family, they do not walk away when you can no longer offer them anything but your struggle. Trials are painful, yes, but they are also sacred. They are life's greatest test of authenticity. They are the furnace that burns away the cheap metals and leaves only the gold. If you pay attention, you will notice that the ones who really love you don't love you because of what you can do for them. They don't love you because you're always strong. They love you even in your weakness. They love you even when you have nothing to give. They stand when others flee. They defend you when others gossip. They choose you when it's no longer easy to do so. And when the trials come, as they always will, you'll see. You'll see who changes their tone. You'll see who pulls away. You'll see who quietly celebrates your downfall while pretending to mourn. You'll see who stands silent when you needed their voice. It can be heartbreaking. It can shatter the illusions you've carried for years. It can make you question your own judgment. But don't curse the revelation. Don't hate the exposure. Don't mourn the loss of what was never truly yours. Instead, be grateful that life loved you enough to clean your circle before your blessings multiplied again. Because what you learn is this: triumphs may build crowds, but trials build your tribe. You don't need a crowd around you. You need a tribe. You need people who can see your tears and not turn away. You need people who pray for you when you don't even know how to pray for yourself. You need people who believe in you when there's no visible evidence to believe in. You need people who sit with you in the dark without rushing you back to the light. That kind of loyalty, that kind of real love cannot be tested in good times. Good times are easy. Good times require no sacrifice. True loyalty is born in the fire. True friendship is forged under pressure. True love is proven when there's every reason to leave, but someone chooses to stay. Life, in its infinite wisdom, orchestrates these trials not to break you, but to bless you, to expose the false so you can embrace the true, to make sure that when you rise again, and you will rise again, You are surrounded by people who will not betray you at the first opportunity. You are lifted by hands that love you, not hands that secretly compete with you. So when the trial comes and you find yourself wondering where everyone went, know this: it was never about losing people. It was about discovering who was never really there. Life doesn't take from you to hurt you. Life removes the fake to make room for the real. And though it may hurt now, one day you will look back and realize the storm was never sent to destroy you. It was sent to deliver you. And you will rise lighter, freer, wiser, and surrounded only by those who were meant to stay. It's easy to believe that every smiling face is a loyal one when life is good, when your pockets are full, when your laughter is loud, when your days are sweet and your nights are easy. It can seem like everyone around you has your best interest at heart. In those bright seasons, relationships feel effortless. Conversations are light, promises are made without hesitation, and everyone says they'll be there for you no matter what. But the truth is, words are cheap when the weather is fair. True loyalty, true connection, and true love are not measured by how someone acts when everything is going well. They are measured by how someone stands when everything starts falling apart. When the storms of life come, and they always come, you begin to see people for who they really are. It's in the nights when you can't stop crying. It's in the mornings when you wake up with more questions than answers. It's in the seasons when you have nothing left to offer, nothing shiny to attract admiration, nothing convenient to benefit anyone else. Those are the moments when real relationships are tested. Those are the moments when masks fall away, when the truth speaks louder than any promise ever could. Some people will slowly disappear when your life gets heavy. They'll find excuses, they'll distance themselves with silent indifference. Some will even resent your struggle because it forces them to confront their own inability to love deeply. Others will stay close just long enough to satisfy their curiosity, to whisper your troubles to others, to feed off your pain for their entertainment. It can be an incredibly lonely feeling. Standing in the ashes of what you thought were strong bonds, realizing that many of them were built on the sand of convenience, not the rock of commitment. But even in that loneliness, there is a profound gift, because hardship strips away the illusions. Hard times do what good times never could. They purify your circle. They expose the weak foundations. They shake loose the people who were never meant to build with you in the first place. And in the middle of all that loss, you find something unbreakable. You find the real ones. Real relationships reveal themselves when love demands more than words. Real friends, real partners, real family, they don't run from your brokenness. They don't need you to be perfect to stay. They sit with you in the silence when you have no strength to speak. They lift your name in prayer when you have no strength to hope. They believe for you when you stop believing in yourself. They don't abandon you when you're a mess. They don't step back when your life stops being convenient for them. They lean in. They hold space for your healing, no matter how long it takes. They understand that loyalty is not a fair weather gift. It's a storm-tested bond. It's important to remember that real relationships don't always look perfect during the hard times. People are human. They won't always say the right thing. They might stumble, they might struggle too, but real love always chooses to stay. It shows up, it forgives, it fights, not with you, but for you. It says, you are not alone, and then it proves it again and again. And so the hard times come not just to challenge you, but to reveal to you what is solid and what is hollow in your life. They don't just test your strength. They test the strength of everyone who claims to walk with you. They reveal who is willing to hold your hand when there's no applause, who will help carry your burdens when the weight gets too heavy for you alone. It's never easy losing the ones who failed the test. It hurts to see promises broken and relationships crumble under pressure. But the beauty is, once you see clearly, you never have to wonder again. Once the storm passes, and it will, you will be left with something real. You will be left with people whose love has been tried, tested, and proven true. And that, more than anything, is worth every painful lesson that the hard times had to teach you. Losing fake people can feel like a deep wound, especially when you invest so much of your heart into someone who eventually shows their true color. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that these departures are punishments or failures. When someone you thought was a friend, a confidant, or a loved one walks away, or when a relationship crumbles, it can feel like a betrayal, like a personal attack. You may question what you did wrong, why things didn't work out, or how you missed the signs. But if you look closely, you'll realize that losing fake people is not a punishment. It's actually one of life's greatest acts of protection. The truth is, not every person who comes into your life is meant to stay. Some people are only there to teach you lessons, not to walk with you through every chapter. It's easy to confuse fleeting relationships with the permanent ones. Fake people may seem like genuine friends or companions for a while, but when the trials of life hit, their true intentions are revealed. It's during those difficult moments when they may vanish, become distant, or show their true disregard for your well-being. When this happens, it can sting, there's no denying that. But instead of seeing it as something negative, you must understand that it's actually a form of divine protection, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. When fake people leave, they create space for what is real. They make room for the kind of people who will show up when things aren't easy, who will stick by your side even when you're not at your best. Fake people often build their relationships on the surface based on what they can get from you, or how convenient it is for them to be around. Real people, however, build their relationships on substance, loyalty, and love. They stay with you when things aren't glamorous, when you don't have anything to offer but your heart, when you're not your best version of yourself. By losing fake people, you free yourself from relationships that were draining your energy, your peace, and your self-worth. Consider this: when you hold on to fake relationships, you block your own blessings. You give energy to people who don't deserve it, who take without giving, and who leave you feeling empty when you need them most. You waste your time in relationships that are based on convenience rather than genuine care. You might tell yourself that the relationship is worth fighting for, but deep down, you know that it isn't. You know that something isn't right. Losing these people, painful as it may be, is the universe or life stepping in to protect you from further emotional harm. It's a sign that you're being given the opportunity to align yourself with those who truly value and appreciate you for who you are, not for what you can do for them or how much you can please them. While the departure of fake people might hurt in the moment, it's crucial to remember that the pain is temporary. The growth that comes from it, however, is lifelong. Each time someone who wasn't meant for your journey leaves, you're one step closer to finding your tribe, the people who will love you unconditionally, who will support your growth, and who will challenge you to be your best self are waiting for you. But first, you must clear the space that the fake people have occupied in your life. And sometimes the only way to do that is for them to leave on their own. Furthermore, when fake people leave, it's not just a matter of them leaving your life. It's about you letting go of them too. There's often a part of us that holds on to people, even when we know they're not good for us. We're afraid of being alone, of not having enough support, or of feeling rejected. But when fake people leave, it's an invitation to let go of those fears and to step into a new chapter of self-reliance and confidence. You are stronger than you think, And life will always replace what is taken away with something better, something more aligned with your true self. Losing fake people is protection because it allows you to reclaim your peace and your focus. It gives you space to grow, to heal, and to surround yourself with people who genuinely lift you up. It's protection because it frees you from toxic relationships that drain your energy and hinder your progress. It's protection because it creates the necessary room for real love, real connection, and real companionship to blossom. It's protection because sometimes the best thing life can do for you is take away what doesn't serve you so that you can embrace the true blessings that are waiting for you. So, when you lose people who were never meant to stay, don't mourn their absence. Celebrate the freedom it brings, appreciate the clarity it offers, and trust that in the grand scheme of things, losing them is not the end. It's simply the beginning of something better. Your heart, your life, and your future will thank you for it. When we encounter difficult people or situations in our lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing words over actions, apologies over patterns. It's human nature to want to believe the best in others, to trust that when someone says they're sorry, they truly mean it. After all, we all make mistakes and we all hope for second chances. But there's a crucial distinction that often gets overlooked. Pay attention to patterns, not just apologies. Apologies are powerful, yes. They can heal wounds, offer closure, and restore trust if they are genuine. But too often, apologies are used as a way to smooth things over without addressing the underlying issues. They become mere words, devoid of meaning when they are not followed by consistent action. In our desire to forgive and move on, we sometimes forget that true growth and change don't come from an apology alone. They come from actions that align with the apology. If the same behavior is repeated over and over again, the apology loses its weight, and we must realize that the pattern itself is the true indicator of a person's character. Think about it. How many times have we all experienced someone apologizing for the same mistake, only to repeat it again? Whether it's a friend who constantly lets you down, a partner who promises to change but doesn't, or a colleague who repeatedly makes the same errors at work. We've all encountered situations where words were said, but no real change was made. It can be frustrating and disheartening, especially when we want to believe that the person is sincere and that they truly mean their apology. But the truth is, words without actions are like empty promises. They offer no real change and no real commitment to growth. The danger in focusing too much on apologies is that we become blind to the patterns that are unfolding before our eyes. We tell ourselves, it's okay, they're sorry, or they've promised it won't happen again. But deep down, we know that we've heard that same promise before. The pattern of behavior continues, and the apology becomes just another way to avoid accountability, to shift the blame, or to manipulate the situation. Instead of getting caught up in the momentary relief of an apology, we need to start looking at the bigger picture, the pattern of behavior that is emerging over time. Patterns tell the true story. They reveal who someone really is, how they really feel about you, and how much they truly value the relationship. If someone's actions consistently contradict their words, it's a sign that the apology was not genuine, and the person may not be as invested in change as they claim. Genuine change takes time and effort, and it's demonstrated through consistent action, not through a repeated cycle of promises that never materialize. Paying attention to patterns also helps us protect our own well-being. When we stop getting caught up in empty apologies and start observing behaviors, we can make better decisions about who we allow into our lives. it becomes easier to identify toxic patterns and set boundaries before we get too emotionally invested. We learn to trust our instincts, to recognize when someone is only offering words without any intent to change, and to remove ourselves from situations that are not healthy or respectful. This isn't about being cold or cynical. It's about being wise and self-respecting. In relationships, both personal and professional, patterns matter far more than words. Someone who consistently treats you with kindness, respect, and understanding, even when they make mistakes, is someone who values you. A person who apologizes, then takes action to correct their behavior, is someone who is genuinely working toward growth. Conversely, someone who repeatedly apologizes for the same things without ever changing is showing you that they do not value the relationship enough to make real effort. It is not your responsibility to constantly forgive and overlook their behavior. You are worthy of consistency, trust, and respect. Moreover, patterns are not just about how others treat us. They are about how we treat ourselves too. Often, we ignore the patterns in our own behavior and make excuses for ourselves. We say things like, "I'll do better next time," or "I didn't mean to," but we don't make a consistent effort to change our habits or actions. Growth requires effort and commitment, not just apologies to ourselves or others. We need to pay attention to our own patterns, recognize when we are repeating unhealthy behavior, and take responsibility for our actions. This self-awareness is essential to our personal development and to building healthier relationships with others. Ultimately, if we learn to pay attention to patterns instead of just apologies, we empower ourselves to make better choices, set healthier boundaries, and build more authentic connections. Apologies are important. They can be a first step toward reconciliation, but they must be backed by real, tangible change. When we choose to observe the patterns in behavior, we see the truth. And sometimes the truth is exactly what we need to move forward and protect ourselves from repeated hurt. By focusing on patterns, we no longer allow ourselves to be fooled by empty words. We learn to trust actions over promises, and we become stronger, wiser, and more resilient in the face of challenges. And in doing so, we create space in our lives for real, lasting relationships that are built on trust, consistency, and mutual respect. Betrayal is one of life's harshest lessons. When someone you trust turns on you, it can feel like the ground beneath you has disappeared. The sense of shock and pain can be overwhelming, and it can take time to process what has happened. It's natural to feel betrayed, angry, and even lost, as your expectations of loyalty, trust, and love are shattered. But what if we could see betrayal not as a complete loss, but as an opportunity growth? What if instead of viewing betrayal as something that is meant to break us, we saw it as a redirection, an invitation to realign ourselves with a better path? Every betrayal, painful as it may be, is a signal that something isn't in alignment with our true selves. It's not just a mistake on the part of the person who betrayed us, it's a wake-up call that something in our life needed to change, whether we were aware of it or not. And when someone betrays us, it's often because they were never meant to be a permanent fixture in our lives. Their purpose, whether it was to teach us a lesson or to help us grow in a certain way, has been fulfilled. The pain that comes from betrayal is the catalyst for a new understanding of who we are, what we deserve, and where we need to go next. It's important to understand that when we experience betrayal, it often happens because we have unknowingly placed our trust or faith in the wrong places. We may have ignored red flags, settled for relationships that weren't truly serving us, or stayed in situations that weren't aligned with our values. Betrayal doesn't always come from malice. It sometimes comes because people are simply not on the same journey as we are. They may have their own struggles, their own path to walk, and their betrayal is not necessarily a reflection of our worth, but a reflection of their inability to be who we needed them to be.